Here we go. Are there questions during class? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, of course. This class is structured for all. Questions are very appropriate. Aloha. Aloha from Quiet Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center. We present this class every Thursday night from 6 to 8. I'm Lama Tashi, and these classes are how to use the Tibetan Buddhist teachings that originated from India and are now passed down to us human beings on this planet. And this program is structured so that it's appropriate for all levels, all ages. And we have here in Hawaii taught this program in the grade schools, high schools, and colleges. And this aspect of Tibetan Buddhism that we are involved with is all about healing. And so when we talk about healing, we're talking about physical, mental, emotional, and of course, spiritual. And these are the aspects of our human condition that we deal with our relationships and who we are and how we survive in this world. When we do these practices, the purpose is to bring the body, speech, and mind into the same place. And I say that because most of us, in fact, this is a teenage phenomenon at our age, is multitasking. And what I mean is, you're thinking of one thing, saying something else, and your body's doing something else. They're not really coordinated. They're not really moving with the same format. And it gets worse in this industrial age because of what we call technological advancement. And so, yes, here we have the computer, and yes, we have our cell phones and our TVs and all of this. But these are distractions. And what do they distract you from is your sense of well-being. And what is a good example of well-being? Well, here in Hawaii, we have the natural world, the ocean around us, and good weather, and lots of sun. So this is an example of good health. But what we're performing is an activity that should generate from inside, then go outside. And I say that because in the health program, if you're trying to realize your true nature, which is not about drama, not about the I, me, mine stuff, that's located inside. And the only good example of it outside is the natural world. And so, yes, we need that, and we need to connect to that, because one thing nice about the natural world is its purpose is to support life. Not just here, not just on this world, but everywhere in the universe. And so, it doesn't do it with judgment. It's not discerning, oh, you're better and you're worse, and you deserve to die, and you deserve to live, and you're good and you're bad, and all of that. It doesn't do that. It just performs, and sentient beings, that's what we are, sentient beings, arise and go away. But in this category of sentient beings, we have three life forms, three kinds of life forms. Us, humans, and animals. And these life forms can only appear on planets. Then the other life forms are spirits. And all of the spirits that exist in the entire universe were once human. And will be again. But in the process, these sentient beings like to be happy. All of it. But because of judgmental mind, which says, oh, I see something, or hear something, or smell something, or taste something, or feel something, that's good. If I like it, it's good. If I don't like it, it's bad. And this judgment is a habit, and it's ingrained in our human condition. We've evolved with this, especially here on this planet. And this judgmental mind is not who you really are. Oh. But how can you operate without it? So the purpose of these practices is to slowly augment that. It doesn't mean that you have to not do certain things or do something. Morality, ethics, and manners, of course, is important. And it's part of the discipline. But the judgment that goes along with that, one person's form of good is another person's bad. Some person's belief is high, another person's low. So you have to temper this judgmental mind. And so these practices are about that in a way that loving kindness becomes the basis, just like your mother created you. That was an act of loving kindness. And that loving kindness evolves into what we call compassion. So when we say compassion, we extend that to all the animals, all the humans, and all the spirits in the entire universe. And when we do that, we evolve with that kind of sense of interconnectedness, that altruistic motivation, that aspect of loving kindness causes you, that thought, to know that everything and everybody in this whole universe is interconnected to you. And that's the basis of healing. Not just relative healing, not just fixing up the body and keeping it tuned, but ultimate healing means to realize the void nature, that the essence of everything is pure energy, and how to use that energy. So what are we? Human energy feeders. And this energy program that we use with these classes has been going on for at least 2,600 years. Some people, teachers say longer than that, but we know from our history since Shakyamuni Buddha. And it's working. And we're not the only ones doing this, but in this category we have special methods. And these special methods start simply with taking refuge. What do you take refuge in? When you say refuge, that means some kind of guidance, some kind of protection, some kind of support. So we're taking refuge on our own true nature as loving kindness, compassion, developing insight into our true nature and what's really going on and how to use these things. And when we do that, we use our imagination and symbols. And when I say symbols, I mean aspects of consciousness that bring compassion and insight and power together with your body, your speech, and your mind. And when you do that, the energy starts to move outward. And your mind is more and more directed outward instead of into the egocentric type of awareness that most of us have. So with that, I'm making that explanation because this has been translated from Tibetan into English. And so we're going to say these prayers, and there's two reasons for these prayers. One is so that we know what we're doing, and number two, so that the spirits around us know what we're doing. Because they can interact with us either in a positive manner or not so nice manner. And we want them to be friendly. So I'm going to chant this first prayer after we say it in English. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings and others, we now all together take refuge and offer prostration. I'm going to communicate those words. It's called the altruistic motivation of Tibetan Buddhism, which makes our tradition a unique tradition. And I'm going to chant them to the spirit. Tadam Joan Nampe Tadam Yampe Semcham Tamche Dudine Jumte Chisi Chanchu Ningpo Lachi Pibardu. Then the next prayer is called the support. And you need the support for these practices because all Buddhists use these, but especially in Tibetan Buddhism, we use the teacher and the symbols of the teacher for accomplishing insight. So we say this in English. We go for refuge to all the ways where we belong. We go for refuge to all the idioms who are the deities gathered in our mandala. We go for refuge to all Buddhists, those who have conquered mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas, the kings, directors, and defenders of the Dharma. Possess the eye of transcendent awareness. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this supreme assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through the merit gained from practicing the 6 perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Now, the first prayer that is called the refuge prayer. It encompasses what they call the 3 jewels of Buddhism, which are the Buddha, the Buddha's teaching, and those that teach and practice, the Dharma and Sangha. But the other 3, the last 3, are the Lama, men and women who have gone through extensive training to understand the drama field that we're in and its complications, but more than that, to understand the inner nature of consciousness that can deal with that in a powerful way and have some accomplishment. And that's called the Lama, the deity, and the protectors, which is what these symbols are that originated in India and Tibet, which we're going to use some of these tonight. And the next prayer is called the prayer of the Bodhisattva, Bodhicitta. Bodhi means clear. Clear of what? Clear of emotionality, clear of attachment, clear of aversion, clear of pride, clear of jealousy, clear of ignorance or delusion. And that word in Tibetan is Sanje. So I'm explaining this because the first prayer is actually the support, which incorporates everything into everything that we do, all the sutra and tantra practice. The second one is not only the support, but it's actual practice, actual things that we do every day. For instance, meditation, yoga. They're things that our mothers taught us to do. Generosity is the #1 discipline of our practice. Morality, ethics, and good manners, as I mentioned before, that's the second discipline. Patience is the third discipline. And diligence or perseverance, I mean, we do these, work them into our lifestyle every day. And then meditation and yoga to develop insight into our true nature. Well, insight is a special aspect of our condition. It's intrinsic. And only humans can do this. And that makes a human birth very favorable, we say favorable, very special. So I'm going to chant these two in Tibetan. And again, this is to communicate this to all the cultures of the planet, but especially to the spirit world. Kalin Lama Dampa Lama Chamsu Chiyam Yeram Choko Hiyaso Lama Chamsu Chiyam Sanje Jom Dende Lama Chamsu Chiyam Dampe Chu Lama Chamsu Chiyam Gendu Nam La Chamsu Shia Pao Kandro Chutong Sumbe Shu Yeshe Ki Chendam Dempa Nam La Chamsu Shia Sanje Chendam Chuki Chok Nam La Kentu Paju Taki Chatsu Dani Jinso Kite Sonam Ki Chola Kanche Samje Drupasho. So these prayers in Sanskrit is the way we communicate, as I said before, to the cultures of the planet. All the different humans that are here. And the Bodhisattva practices is what we do every day. This generosity, morality, patience, perseverance, meditative focus, and development of insight, that's ongoing. Then we add to that what's called skillful means. Skillful means is what I mentioned before, being able to generate with your imagination symbols that energize your mind, energize your heart. Allow this to become more and more expansive, because the human mind is unlimited, is the best way to put it. It doesn't have boundaries. It's all-pervasive. And that all-pervasive nature is very powerful. And that's how we've evolved to this state that we are today, on the positive way. But in developing this all-pervasive nature, you must be able to integrate it into the drama mind. And the drama mind is very conflicting, is the best word. It's restricting. And when I say drama mind, your emotional energy that you attach to what you say, think, and do. So it distorts. It distorts everything. It distorts what you're seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, and feeling. It distorts what you're thinking. And it distorts your relationships with nature and with each other. And so this distortion can be removed without anything from outside. Wow. That's how powerful your all-pervasive nature is. And once that distortion is removed, however it happens, some people have to do it the hard way with near-death experiences or taking psychotropic drugs or extreme physical activities, and so forth. But it should be easy. It should be natural. It should occur spontaneously and gradually. Because if it happens all at once, then everybody says, oh, that's just another experience, which is true. But there's another realm of realization beyond experiential. So we're all attached to our experiences, mostly the good ones. But the other aspect of experience is called realization. And experiences only lead to it. For instance, I can say that you have a Buddha nature, and I can read from a book here, it's called The Book of Perfection, it's over there on the table, that many teachers have, down through the ages, have condensed all of this into small things. But your real nature, each one of us has to realize that on our own. And then, with the guidance of the Lama, learn how to use it directly. And in the process, not become more inflated. Because, you know, if you get a lot of power, you go, wow, I'm great. I can do this, nobody else can do. You got to watch out for this egocentric drama mind. And that's where the Lama comes in. And the teacher, man or woman, is only here for that purpose. These teachers, like the Dalai Lama, he doesn't take karmic birth. He just comes here because it's the time to come here. Now we're moving into this age. Now the human brain has developed to the point where it's got a couple extra glands here connecting these two parts of our brain, the pituitary and the pineal. What are these really for? What do they do? Well, they activate the brain in certain ways with energy input. And when you use your imagination, you're activating those so that the energy input causes the right secretions to go through your body to lighten you up. Because these energy centers, called nadis in Tibetan, circulate through your body, and there's thousands and thousands of these channels of light. So what are we as energy feelers? We're light beings. When I say this, it's not to be, oh, we know all this stuff, you know, but it makes it easy for humans to gradually accept their true nature, the heart nature, in a way that escalates. I'll give you an example. This neighborhood, we've been in this little house for, what, 11 years. So when I first came here, Abby invited me. She said, it's very noisy here. A lot of problems here. I said, well, what are the problems? She said, you'll see. So this was a drug neighborhood. We have a serious drug problem. It's too nice here, so when people want to up it. You know, but anyway, a lot of fighting, a lot of quarreling, a lot of noise, people doing things that were not harmonious is the best way to put it. So, good. Now I'm in a place where maybe the Dharma can be of some benefit. Because before I was living in a very nice place up in Kahuna Road, and we jungle all around, the river right there, you know, all the plants going. Well, it's quiet. So we started to do our practices. And of course you need help when you get into violent situations, which was going on. So we called in the police. Huh? That was 11 years ago. So gradually, quiet. You can't change all at once, but it's all about energy. And you can't do it by yourself. Like I said, you call the police. Because that was only to take care of the more troublesome. So yes, you can take on your own personal heart development, what I like to call it, heart-mind development. And you can follow any tradition. I follow them all, from American Indian down to Sufi and Hindu, and I was raised Catholic and so forth. So I got to practice all of them. And they were helpful. But Tibetan Buddhist practice deals with one thing the other ones didn't deal with. Ego, the I. And they start off right away telling you this doesn't exist. There's no such thing as an I or a soul. So everybody thinks, oh, that's emptiness, voidness. I can't do that. No, that just simply means you can't find it. You can have all this idea of yourself, how your body is and everything, and how you think you really are. But if you look inside, you go deep into that, after a while, you find what happens when you go out into the sky, into space. It just is more and more and more and more and more space. When you go the other way, less and less and less and less and less, but never stops being less and less and less. And I'm telling you this because that's what we call realization. That's what we call the natural mind. That's equal to what the universe is. And so what do you want to do? What's the good idea? Be equal with the universe. Be in total harmony. You know, you want to be a gardener? Wow, that works really good in the garden. Look at around this house. All these fruit trees flourishing, garden in the backyard. Of course, we have to work. Feed you. And air around this house. High oxygen output because all these plants here. Right here. So that breath is important. And so how do we start with this besides the refuge? Meditate. Absolutely necessary to meditate. I don't care if it's 5 minutes a day. If you give yourself 5 minutes sitting just like I am, after about 3 or 4 minutes, you start to smile at the joke. As you start to get peace on your own, you don't need to go on with it. So we're going to do that. So sit with your back straight. You don't have to sit back straight, but I do. Back straight, hands comfortable, on your knees, in your lap, on the floor if you like. I used to sit on a cushion, cross-legged and all that stuff. Head straight, back straight, head a little bit tilted. Mouth closed to start with, your tongue resting against your palate. And your eyes hold to a focus of the space and light about arm's length in front, right here. Not too close to your nose and not to an object around you. Just pick your energy space right here. And let the energy of the power of that come in through your eyes, and you simply watch your breath. So while you're sitting like this, you inhale, diaphragm expands. Exhale out your nose if you can. Keep your focus on the inhale and the exhale. Now we're going to move from that position into the healing breath taught by the lamas, called the three lights prana yoga practice. To do this, you simply focus on the inhale, the air that you're bringing into your lungs, and you think of it or visualize it as white light filling the lungs. The energy that's spontaneously extracted, we call the middle breath, passes through every cell in your body, and you visualize that as a flash of red light through your body. Then these two breaths you bring together and exhale out your nose, blue light to space. It's called the healing breath. Inhale white light, fill your lungs. Absorption breath, visualize red light through your body, every cell. Bring the two together and exhale out your nose as blue light to space, available to everyone. Once you get good at this prana yoga technique, this method of the three lights breathing, then you simply notice that you're in a state of calm abiding, more or less disconnected from worldly activities and peaceful. Then you move to the next stage of the practice, which is to take your focus off of the breathing, off the breath. And with your imagination, bring the three lights together into your heart center, an area in the center of your body, and there create a chakra by simply imagining a tiny particle of energy or light to connect to the infinite light of the fabric of boundless space. So you keep your focus to your heart center. Then with your imagination, you use that boundless space, that all-pervasive aspect of your consciousness, to imagine the particle expands into a tiny, clear, light sphere, as small as you can imagine it, but keep it enlarging until it becomes about the size of these symbols that I have before me. And tonight we'll use the water symbol, which is simply imagining that this little clear light sphere now becomes a blue sphere of light about the size of your thumbnail, about the size of a small grape. Label it water. Now the elements cannot be separated. When I say the elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, But in this case, we're using this symbol for healing, simply by the psychic energy of our own imagination. Then using that and keeping your focus together with that, imagine that small blue sphere labeled water to move out in front of your body and up before your eyes where you started your practice. If you see it there with your eyes, that just means you have a great imagination. Here's your third eye, that's your imagination. Now all the energy of the elements located here are now coming in through your eyes and are passed through your body. At this point, imagine that blue sphere labeled water to enlarge to about the size of this room. You're just large enough to see your body just as you are sitting inside. Then all the life force energy of the elements now inhabiting your body will be shared with the rest of this meditation. To do that, you imagine this blue sphere encircling your body to enlarge in size to completely encompass this island of Kauai and surrounding ocean. Then expand it in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. Keeping your focus and imagination together, enlarge it to completely enclose our solar system with the sun and all the planets inside. The next step is to expand it in size to completely enclose our spiral dish-shaped galaxy. And finally, move beyond your conceptual mind by increasing it to merge with the infinite light of boundless space. Relax. There's no meditation. Simply stay present. Develop present. Then move from that dimension of being with your imagination to completely enclose the galaxy with this blue sphere of the element water. Reduce it in size to just enclose the solar system. Shrink it to just enclose Mother Earth. smaller and smaller to just enclose Kwai, or whatever town or city or area where you live. And then again to just incorporating your body, so that the full life force energy of what you've been imagining is now centered into your form. Then bring it back to its original small size and place it directly in front of your eye, arm's length out in front. Bring it to chest level and into your heart chakra. Shrink it in size so it creates a small sphere of clear light. Keep reducing its size until it again becomes a particle of clear light energy, similar to an atom. And relax, and connecting to boundless space. No meditation. Finish this practice by bringing your awareness to in front of your eyes and expand it into this room. And think that the results of all this go to everybody, everywhere. That's called dedicated. Any question? You have a question?
I was going to add at any time.
There is no time. Yes, you can do this anytime, any place. And the more you do this, just following the breath. You know, you can't do martial arts without breath. I was taught by my teacher, Lily Sue, in Honolulu, Tai Chi form, which is the basis of this practice, which evolved from the Chinese to Tibetan. And then they handed it down to teacher disciples. So my teacher taught it to us on Maui in the 70s. But these 5 elements are not based on belief. This is how everything is. There isn't anything in this universe that's not made of these 5 elements. You cannot have one without the other. And if they're not in harmony in your body with the harmony of the elements of whatever environment you find yourself in, you have what we call dis-ease. That's a big word. Because dis-ease could be in the body, dis-ease could be in your thinking, dis-ease could be in your emotional problem. Dis-ease could be relationship. Dis-ease means out of harmony. So what we're doing here to start right off is interconnecting with the totality of everything as a support for each individual sentient being. And that's the animal, human, and spirit. But when you go into the space aspect, kind of scary, huh? That's out there. That takes some adjusting. But that's your natural mind. That's how powerful the human mind is. It's all pervasive. You can think of anything everywhere. You know, if you're outside of your body, you can go anywhere in this universe in an instant. Life's not That's a physical restriction. But light combined with space has no restriction. And physics, the law of physics is based on that. That's how we have this computer. That's how you have your iPhone. That's nothing whatsoever. This is a two-dimensional image, right? But people see this and they think I'm real. It's because there's a picture there. You look in the mirror and you think, oh, that's me. Actually, you got it backwards. The image in the mirror is who you really are. This is just a reflection out here. That's the way the mind works. Everything that you're taking in sensually, everything that you're conditioned by your parents, friends, relatives, lovers, enemies, everything, nature around you, that's conditioned you to believe that that's real. And of course it is. But in the natural state, it's not. And everything you see before you disappears. If not now, soon. It's always changing. And some people just can't flow with the change. Any questions? Next. Why do we use these color codes? Why does this have to be blue? Because water isn't always blue. And water isn't always water either. It changes to ice, it changes to steam, it changes to clouds, waterfalls, streams, oceans, our body. This is a walking water body. Why do we need these color codes? So that you can imagine everything that comes through that computer is a color code. Who made those codes? Human beings. What are they called? Code writers. This is code. Tibetan Buddhists are code writers for the mind so that you can grasp the totality of your natural mind as unrestricted. And take the judgment call out of it. You know, if I have to think of politicians, I have a hard time with that. Okay? So what do? I substitute some image of a Buddha or a Bodhisattva, man or woman, in place of that judgment. Oh, what does that do? Well, makes it nice. It can be okay with it. That's the mind. That's your job in life. You know? If somebody says that person's bad, well, that's their judgment. I prefer not to do that. That's the practice. That's what that's the Dalai Lama. He wakes up every morning, 3, 4 o'clock every morning, jumps up. He does this. He gets out of bed and goes like this. I don't know what direction he faces. He goes like this. And he's older than me. What is he doing? He's working out. But that movement incorporates a lot of yoga. You know, salutations to the sun, plow, and all that. But when he's doing that, he's imagining that every sentient being in the universe is doing it with him. Not only that, he's saying this refuge prayer. This one. All the Lama, that one. I take refuge in all the Lamas and all that. He's saying that, but he's thinking that all sentient beings are taking with these sources of refuge. And if you ask him what his religion is, he laughs and he says, I practice loving kindness. That's my religion. That's it. Top of our social structure to the lowest in the healing condition can change instantly with loving kindness. No matter how warped or messed up it is, with the guidance of our military and politicians and religious leaders and all of that, right down to the homeless people and people that are starving and all that, if they change their heart and substitute just loving kindness, that's it. That's your mother. That's this universe. We wouldn't be here. So what is the universe? It's the mother. Every planet in the universe supports life. Every sun supports life. Every moon. Yeah? That answer your question? Now, the next factor. We structured this class based on breath. And when we taught it to the children, we called it mindfulness. And to the Hawaiian children, they were already doing the 5 elements practice. So they already had their imaginary process going, and there was no computers or televisions in their homes. So they didn't have that kind of distraction. But in any case, they came to this class, remember Abby? And they brought their book. And their book was all about nature, all about the water element, the fire, the sun, mother sun, and all that. And it was a gradual program. So why says, well, you're already doing what we do. What do you want? He says, well, we have a word, ah, lo, ha. I said, that's not a word, that's 3 words. No, it's all one word. Ah is the energy. Lo is the consciousness. Ha is the power of connecting those two. Energy and consciousness. And ha means the powerful breath. Healing. I said, yeah, so what do you want from me? He says, we have the heart. How do you develop it? And I said, well, your word aloha means loving kindness. It goes like this, from my heart to your heart, shaka. You read it out here. From my heart to your heart. That's the basis of the Hawaiian tradition. That's how they survived out here in the middle of the universe. That's how they found this place. They moved their consciousness beyond its limitation and let the nature show them how to survive. It's called intuitive awareness. You and you and you are born with it. Us guys, we got to develop it. But the only way we can do that is with the help of our mother and women. So this state of intuitive awareness is the natural mind in a human body. And what is intuitive awareness? It's simply knowing things without having somebody tell you, or without you even having done them before. So when we move into that kind of awareness, it's called the path of skillful meaning in Tibetan. But what it means is your body is completely based on life. And that's a scientific fact. So what are you? You're a bunch of atoms walking around, glommed together for a period of time. Okay, and then you've got all this identification program based on judgmental conditioning. But it's still not going to change. It's still a bunch of atoms. And every 7 years, every atom in your body moves to another place and another atom takes its place. So every 7 years, you're a new person, physically. So what we do with this program is the same as ah, lo, ha. This is the way I explain it to the children. But in our minds, we use the Sanskrit language, which is the way we convey the Dharma, this wisdom practice, by using the vibratory sounds of Om, Ah, and Hum, but with a color code. So the Om, a little bit different than the one in Hindu. Hindus do this too. so do Sufi. But this means that the energy of the universe is coming in as a light energy to support your body. So that's the vibratory sound of Om. Ah is the energy itself, how it sustains you. What you drink, what you eat, your activities, how you think. That's all Ah. First letter of our alphabet. Ma, Ah, first Ah, low Ah. And then we take these two working together and create that home. That's this sound. Now you don't have to know these Sanskrit syllables, but it's helpful in increasing your imaginary power. That's the way to put it. So I'm showing you them. Now we're going to base this practice in the same way we did the 5 elements. Oh, did we do 5 elements? No. We only did 1. But remember I said they're all interconnected. So however element you need for healing, you can decide that, or you can have a healer like Abby who can tell you which one you need. She has a gift. I can't do that. Anyway, whichever one of these you pick for your healing session, the other 4 are there, but that one is predominant. When someday you need to feel more grounded, more earth element, or something more from your food, whatever, then you would use this one. So that color code is yellow or gold. Just like that, in Tibetan Buddhism, they took all the emotional conflicts of the drama mind and put them in 5 categories. Oh, and how many are there? I mean, 5 categories. How many conflicting emotions are there? Infinite, but you can't deal with infinite. So they counted the worst ones and they came up with the number 84,000. Big deal. So that means they got 20-some thousand in each of these 5 categories. But what are the 5 categories? Well, the predominant emotion that messes us up in the human world is called meaningless, but it's based on attachment. Now, attachment isn't just attachment. It's desire, it's lust, it's greed. You get me? It has a lot of energy programming. Just one word, attachment. So that's one category. Then they took all the ones that things you don't like. That's called aversion. And they put that in another category. Then they took all the ones about arrogance, thinking that what you believe is the absolute truth when it's not. It's called arrogance. And that's the basis of some Buddhist traditions, but the tradition of the religions of the world. Because what happens when you get to heaven? Do you remember? You think you're better than anybody else. You're arrogant. They call them arrogant gods and goddesses. And that's not just men and women. Beings. So arrogance is pride. It's thinking things are supernatural, just on belief. Divine, they use the word divine. Then they attach words to it, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, all of this kind of stuff. Which is okay. It's a word like that. That's another category. Then the jealousy is another category. Huh?
You said they attach the words to the thinking that you're better, better,
Higher.
So that's omniscient, that refers to God.
God.
Those terms.
God or goddess is a better way to say it. Or divine celestial being.
So you're saying that those divine celestial beings, that's an aspect of believing that you're better?
Yeah, where did they get that? From their religion. You know, in Catholicism and Christianity, there's 2,600 different forms of Christianity. I know this because I studied with some Orthodox Russian monks in Alaska. And they put it all on the computer. But 2,600 forms of Christianity, each one thinks that they're superior. Then you got all these other traditions about gods and goddesses, and they're better than everybody else. That's called arrogance. Do you agree? It leads to war. The absolute opposite purpose of religion leads to war. Arrogance, pride, is based on delusion. That what you think is absolutely true when it isn't. So what do we have here? We have two forms of truth. That's why they took these and categorized these emotional problems in the mind based on judgment. They're the ultimate psychiatrists. And then they went to work on it. But the five are jealousy, anger, which is from aversion, delusion, which is from ignorance, attachment, which, as I said before, leads to other problems. Are you with me? So those five categories.
And arrogance.
Oh, and arrogance, pride. Yeah. So yeah, those five. Now, when you take those five and put their antidote in there, who made the antidote? Those emotions, each one carries an antidote. If you get angry and there's no antidote to anger, you're in big trouble. Because that's the worst of all the human affliction. It causes such a drastic hormonal change in your body, it's unbelievable. One moment of anger. It's not good if you want to stay young. Because that hormone causes extreme aging. We don't have to define all the hormones. So then they said, okay, so let's take anger, the worst of all human afflictions. Where does it come from? It comes from the simple judgment that that's bad and you don't like it. I don't like it. Subject, object, dichotomy. With me? Then you have aversion. But aversion doesn't just sit there. These emotional energies take off. As soon as you manifest them, they take off. So what you liked, all of a sudden you have desire for. Oh, and then you have lust, or whatever it is, or whoever it is. And that can go to greed. Well, America's based on greed, aren't we? So, the antidote to that one simple act of thinking that you don't like something, causing aversion, is interconnectedness.
It's based on greed in the sense of what?
Unity. Oneness. We're all one being.
That's how America is based on greed?
No, the antidote to anger is this idea of oneness. Interconnectedness. I have a book this thick, just written by one of my teachers, called the Karma. How do you use interconnectedness in the social structure of the world the way it is today? It's about this thick. So chapter by chapter, he went through all of the political, all of the social programs, including the media, all of it. And he said, just this one idea of interconnectedness is the antidote to all this social program based entirely on disease. And he says, the antidote to disease is loving kindness. But with an interconnected being of loving kindness, leaving no sentient being out. That's the stretch. Where does something like that come from? It's here. Where does the emotional conflict come from? Up here. So we have this dichotomy of these two minds constantly in conflict. So the Tibetan Buddhist says, how do you get this one to merge with this one so you're okay with it? Abby calls this infinite okayness. I think that's the best way I've heard it. You know, the English word. I don't know where it came from. Okay, do it. Then you apply that to what you have attachment for. Now, what is the antidote to attachment is discerning that first of all, it causes problems because it escalates. But you discern that your natural mind is more powerful than your drama mind. That doesn't mean you're going to give up the things you're attached to. It means you're going to transform them into discerning that the light nature of your mind, that doesn't exist. That judgment call, if I like something, doesn't exist. Wow. That's a thought. So that starts this one to ponder. And after a while, it starts to accept the fact that this one is where the infinite okayness is. Each of these, pride, what's the antidote to pride? Equanimity. There's no high. You know, if you say celestial beings are better than you, well, you can make that judgment. Gods and goddesses, you can pray to them, maybe they can help you. Maybe they can. But that's individual. We're talking about collective. So yes, all of these traditions can work together. And they do. They all have this basic thing. But if any tradition says you can harm your body, or you can harm another, or you can harm the environment, toss it. So I did. And I'm 81 and I'm still tossing. Now, what do we do to make those antidotes to these powerful emotions that rule us be a benefit? How do we transform that much energy that's caused so much damage to this planet? How do we transform it on an individual basis? You substitute that this is not solid, fixed, and permanent. You can take your hand and go through a solid object. If you want to, you can walk through a wall. So what? It simply means that atoms of light are all interconnected in a way that cause you so much problems up here that you're distorting the ability to create a holistic healing environment. Worldwide, neighborhood, in your own home. And so what we do in Tibetan Buddhism is we take these 5 elements as the basis, and these 3 sounds, Om, Ah, and
It's
Hum.
upside down.
Huh? Om, Ah, and Hum. And sit with your back straight, mouth closed, head tilted, hands comfortable, either in the lap or on the knee. Eyes open. You can practice with your eyes closed, but you might go to sleep. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Then introduce the 3 lights. Inhale white light, visualize it filling your lungs. The energy absorption breath through your body is visualized as red light. These two together out the nose is blue light, is the healing breath to space. Now we're going to move into the vibration of this light. When you inhale the white light into your lungs, you hear the sound Om. As the absorption breath takes place through your body, the red light energy, you hear the sound Ah. And these combine and go out your nose as blue light to space, you hear the sound Om. Now, as before, you take all of your focus off your breath. Combine the three lights and the three sounds and visualize them to create a particle of energy or light in the center of your chest, in the center of your body. And think that there's an energy channel of light running from the top of your head down through your body to the perineum, bottom of your torso. Then connect to that particle as connecting to the infinite light of boundless space. So you ponder that. You cannot visualize that. That being the basis of the practice, with your imagination, expand the particle to create a small clear light sphere of light. And that way you enter into this three-dimensional universe, our world. Then expand that small clear light sphere until it creates a sphere of 5-colored light about the size of your thumbnail. In this way, you bring the 5 elements as a code and the 5 states of awareness as antidotes to emotional afflictions together. Here, so take your middle finger and point. Here. With that in place, you send this light energy program you have created here out to the Lama who gives the instruction. Maybe you have many Lamas, but they are arranged around you in front as a guidance. And all of their symbols appear. They accept your light offering and return it from their heart centers, because they're doing the same thing you are worldwide, back into your heart center. As it enters into your heart center, the 3 codes, the Om, An, Hum, create the sound of space, which is VAM, V-A-M. It is white, with a reddish glow, and it is 3-dimensional, this sound. It looks kind of like a squiggly square with a dot over it, but give it thickness and make it reddish color. So here you have this 5-colored sphere of light, and inside this sound of the vibration of space, Bom. Tibetans say Bom because they don't have V in their alphabet. Once you've located that, then you think that this is interconnecting this space to every being and everything in existence. Just this one vibratory sound. So this is exemplifying or manifesting your all-pervasive nature of mind. It's called the Dharmakaya, which means wisdom vehicle. But you just need to see it, imagine it, hear it. Then you think your mother, father, friend, relative, everybody you have karma with this life, the whole planet of humans and animals, all the spirits that exist, all of that are receiving this energy of this code. For what purpose? Healing. And as this all-pervasive nature starts to include everyone as interconnected to you in this way, you become the mother symbol made of light. And that's this picture. So everything in this room, all of these structured symbols that we use, everything comes down to this. And behind her is the space energy of light that she emanates from. And she is called in Sanskrit Prajnaparamita. It means the mother of perfect wisdom. She sits with 4 arms. She has a vajra in her right hand, which is the symbol the Tibetans use of the 5 elements and 5 antidotes to emotions in your mind. This is your mind. That's what she's using. That's called Tantra. In her right hand, she has a book called Heart Sutra. And what it's about is explaining that everything appears as light that is sensual. Everything you see, smell, taste, touch, feel, and even think about, all of that is structured as light. That's called the sutra practice. Her other 2 arms are in meditation posture. So this is taking these 5 fingers, earth, water, fire, air, and space, and these 5 wisdoms, antidotes, and bringing them together like this, right on top of that. And this is called a mudra. So place your hands in that mudra if you like. Get a feel of it. Think of your ordinary body as completely disappearing, which it will eventually. And in its place, substitute this symbol of this Buddha female. And she's sitting with her legs in full lotus, which is a symbol of discipline. And underneath, the sun and moon are her seat, and a beautiful 32-petal lotus, which is how all the elements create beauty in our world. And above her head, the sun and moon in the sky, so she's in an earthly situation. And around her is all the natural world. And below her is a symbol of an empty mirror. Because your mind is like a mirror. It starts off with empty. Then it starts to fill as things appear, essentially. Then that's where we want to be. So that's a symbol. And she's clad in silks and jewels. This is a symbol of what they thought would be like the Hindus, gods and goddesses, or celestial realms. So you think of yourself like that. A rainbow body, illusory body, made of light. If you want your mother's face in her place of her face, that's okay. then you think of whatever you do now is only for the benefit of everyone else and our environment, of course. So you're focusing on the seed self of Lam as connecting to boundless space and light. You're thinking that everything you're doing has this symbol, this Buddha symbol, is only for everybody else, because it's all interconnected. That creates a sound called a mantra. And the mantra goes like this. All this energy that you are taking on comes out your mouth, your speech. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. And that mantra is created inside the five-colored sphere around the seed self of Lam from you setting this up in your mind, this practice. And every Lama on the planet, man and woman, and their students do this practice. TADYATA, Om, Eka, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. Eyes open, gaze here. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. TADYATA, Om, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. Ha. Say, ha. Ha, ha. That's the powerful breath. That's the healing breath. TADYATA means collect all the wisdom of your natural mind into your heart. That's TADYATA. Om, all the clarity of the life force of the universe into your body. Gate means purify the body. Second gate, purify the speech. Third gate, purify the mind. Gate, gate. Then finally, Parasam, Gate, BODHI, SOHA. The body, speech, mind becomes clear of emotionality, completely. No judgment. SOHA simply means this energy program always increasing, available to every sentient being. That's SOHA, Svaha in Sanskrit. Understanding the mantra gate gate paragate. Paragate means beyond conceptual mind. Transform your thoughts, transform your beliefs, transform the ideas of the self or the soul, all of that into pure awareness to benefit every living being. That's the symbol, the ultimate mother principle. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi SOHA. Now, on the back of this are the three sounds: Om, Ah, and Hum. Now, what this means is your body, speech, and mind are all connected into the meaning of this symbol as what you say, think, and do. That's it. And so how do you incorporate something like that? I think you can stand on that. That's Abby's idea. Oh, so they can see. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the bomb. Why are you saying the mantra? The bomb is called the creation sound of the universe as space and light, energy. You want to simplify all of this program, if you want to call it, all of this dharma into that. And then work it. Whatever your lifestyle, whatever, however you are, just the way you are. No austerity programs necessary. So you just start to settle. And you start to settle more and more out of this programming into this program. And then it becomes easier and easier to be loving, kind, and considerate, and altruistically compassionate to everyone. Especially the ones that want to harm you, because they're suffering the most. The button pusher. You know, the ones that don't agree with you, one's got their own idea of what's perfect. You want to be in the middle. Here's good, here's bad. Find the middle. Relax. Get this relaxation program going in your body. Why is relaxation good? Because no stress. Okay? Like I work with space metals called white metals. Appliances, washers, dryers, stoves, refrigerators. Well, they were white. Now they changed the color. White metal. So that's the space element right there, metal, you know, in the Chinese tradition. But what do I get to do with it? I get to throw it around. I get to pick it up and move it. That keeps me in shape. Also, I don't have to beg. You know, I'm not a monk, obviously. I'm a householder. I have a wife. I have responsibilities. So what I'm saying, however you are, whatever your responsibility, integrate this. take this vibratory sound of the space combined with the antidote to the conflicting emotions and be this symbol. And just sit maybe 5 minutes. Om Gate Gate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA. Om TADYATA Om Gate Gate Parasam Gate BODHI. If there's too much mind going on with the visualizing yourself as the deity, all this ifs, ands, and buts stuff, then just focus on the seed syllable bomb, the symbol of the totality of space and light, has energy, the absolute mother principle. If it helps, put your mother in front smiling at you as this symbol. You don't really have to project it because it's all pervasive as nature. We can sing it. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA. So however you want to do it, the three aspects of this topic, with your imagination and your focus together. Is to focus on the sound bomb, is collecting all the wisdom available from all of the people that do this kind of practice. See it as all pervasive space with the seed syllable bomb. So it's everywhere, to everyone. That's the creation zone. Then bring your body, speech, and mind by being together by being this symbol in light form, like a hologram. And then take the energy of that, what's coming in through your eyes and through your heart, as the mantra, communicating this to the area around you. Everything has vibration. Everything is made of light in space. TADYATA Om Gate Gate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate BODHI SOHA TADYATA Om Gate Gate Paragate PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA TADYATA OM GATE GATE PARAGATE PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA TADYATA OM TADYATA OM GATE GATE PARAGATE PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA TADYATA OM GATE GATE PARAGATE PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA TADYATA OM GATE GATE PARAGATE PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA TADYATA OM GATE GATE PARAGATE PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA TADYATA OM GATE GATE PARAGATE PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA TADYATA OM GATE GATE PARAGATE PARASAM GATE BODHI SOHA. Ha. 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 I mean, we do that a lot. Ha. Ha. Gotta keep your sense of humor around. I mean, she kind of has a smirk, doesn't she? Prajnaparamita. You know, it's all the Buddhists, they got a little smirk on their face. Over here is Tara. That's a manifestation of one of our deities, Tara. All of this creation of codes has been going on for 2,600 years through all of India as an antidote to the Hindu tradition primarily. But then it entered into the Tibetan tradition as a way of survival. So in Tibet, they had a very common ritual we call animal and human sacrifice. And they did that to perpetuate the spirit so they could get rain for their barley crop. So their best children and women and the best horses and cats, they offered to the spirit. It worked. But it's not good karma. I don't think the animals, children, and women appreciate it. So the yogis from India went there and he says, you know, you're doing pretty good surviving up here without food. Very little water, very dry. It's the desert. Why don't we show you another way of getting your barley crop so you don't have to offer all your kids and horses and that. And so what they did is they took the best part of the barley crop, they call it sampa, which is roasted barley made into a meal. And that's what they survived on through the winter, which is 8 months long. It's like Alaska, 8, 10 months long. And then the chong, which was the beer, the malt liquor they made from the fermented barley, they offered that. Now those two substances, one was a symbol for the mind, and the other was a symbol of the body. And they said, here, spirits, take this. And they made them into special designs, and they made up all intricate, what they call ritualistic practices in their tradition. And they got the barley. So slowly over, it started about the 7th century AD. Gradually, that spread down in the valley and out into the Tibetan plateau and up into Mongolia. And then Genghis Khan got hold of it. And Genghis Khan says, wow, you guys got something going here. I need this for my horses. So he took Buddhism and threw all the other traditions out because he could show him how he could get grass for his horses anywhere he went. So he took over. But he couldn't take over Tibet because there's nothing there. He wants to go up there and freeze to death. Right? But I'm explaining this because this is the way we're the tradition, we're facing that on this planet. We're facing extinction. We're in survival mode right now. You know, on this island, we lost our whale. Yeah. We went out looking for the whale today. There's no whale. That's not a good sign. Up in the rainforest, we lost our birds. We used to go up there and camp out. Now like this neighborhood. This is not good. So, I'm not saying we're going to fix that. I'm saying we identify that we have a problem. The problem is an opportunity to come up with it. And this is working. This is working all over the world. I just came from, Abby and I, we just went to New Zealand. Now New Zealand is nice, but they have a very cold ocean. They're close to Antarctica. So if you go in the water there, it's like jumping into ice water. But in any case, the Dharma is working there. The country is based on loving kindness and compassion. That doesn't mean they're protected, because terrible things happen everywhere on the planet. But better. And we found 2 Dharma centers there on North Island. And we went there. Unbelievable. I mean, whatever lamas were there, the lamas were gone. One died and the other one moved to Australia. The other one moved to America. Because lamas do that. Me, I'm happy to just sit right here. It's cool. But unbelievable. Many acres of land, hardly changed. A Buddha statue, 40 feet high, in the middle of nowhere, but easy to get to. The road went right there. Stupas, like we have one down here in Moawala, Tahiti, all over the place. Huge building for their shrine. Perfect. Everything. Groundskeeping, everything. Unbelievable. And I went, wow, if we can do that in New Zealand, we can do it here on Quad. But I'm saying that it's working now. Yes, they have terrible things happening recently in the news. But that's not the way they are. The woman that runs that country is the mother to that country. And she stresses loving kindness and compassion. She just had a kid. So she knows mother. So this mind of the mother, that's what we're exemplifying. And all of the Tibetan Buddhists who practice do that. But you have to practice, you have to integrate it if you want to change and connect to your own nature. And then blend it with whatever tradition you like. I love to be Sufi. Sufi is all about the heart, you know. But they work with the 5 elements. Ever seen Sufi? Mm-hmm. Sufis can dance and play. They call it twirling. They can turn and not fall down. Like ice skaters, you know, they go really fast. How do they do that without falling down? Imagination, focus. But coming from the heart, not coming from up here. You don't have to believe this stuff. Just practice. Any questions? That was an hour and 45 minutes and too much talk. No question. Any questions from Zoom land?
I have a question about the 3 lights meditation.
Okay.
So breathing in white light,
Yeah.
and then the red. Like, what's the red?
That's the energy.
So you
That's what your body does.
So visualize breathing in the white, and then like flash of red,
Yeah.
and then the blue out.
Yeah. That's how the Sherpas get to the top of Mount Everest without oxygen. carrying big loads. And no heavy clothing or anything. Because they get that energy program in place. That's a trick. The mom was talking. So it's very healthy too. So those two are all about good health, physically, mentally, emotionally. But projecting them out is about the interconnectedness is an antidote to emotional affliction, including everybody and everything. Nobody excluded, no matter how bad they are. No animal, no matter how nasty. No spirit, no matter how demonic. All included. Wow. Because that's what's inhabiting everything, like around this house, this energy program. These spirits inhabit all the plants. You know, I asked the spirit one in the avocado tree if we could have avocado. The tree went into bloom. Now I'm asking the mango tree spirit, because he laughs so many uppity spirit. No, it won't give us mango. So I said, okay, you don't give mango. So I went with my cutter, started cutting the bark around the tree. I gave him the offering. He didn't. Now we'll see. But I'm very nice about it. Please. You know, I honor what you are. For me, mango. You have to work with the energy around. Gardening's all about.
I think
So
someone
answering your
online,
question,
someone online had a question.
it's just about the light. Yeah.
I have a question. This is Sandhya.
Oh,
Can,
okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
When a tragedy like what happened in New Zealand happens, what is our correct response? Saying "Om Mani Padme Om," sending sending and taking.
You're talking about Tonglen, taking and sending?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there anything else that we can do, or is that basically what we do?
Yes, if loving kindness and compassion for all beings is your motivation, yes. All these practices are based on those two things.
Yes.
Loving kindness for ourselves and all sentient beings and for our environment. And compassion, which means alleviating their suffering as best we can on a physical, mental, emotional level. And when we can, teach them the nature of their natural mind, which we call Buddha nature, which is symbolized by this, or in the male aspect, any Buddha statue. All these others are called bodhisattva. Those are condensing practices. That's the way I deal with gardening. That's the way I deal with my job as a recycling program.
So is taking and sending the best one, probably, or something like that?
Taking and sending based on Om Mani Padme Hum, very powerful. Substituting yourself for others, taking their affliction in, but that's a higher level of practice. First of all, you have to have a good basis. And the basis is you get these mantras, but one deity mantra, one visualization is you as a light body and the creation sound in your heart center. Connect your body, speech, and mind that way. Then the taking and sending, or the three lights of the Om Hum, will be very effective.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, that was one aspect of the practice. Everything we did up to now. That's called the creation phase of tantric practice. Now we're going to go to the accomplishment stage. Sit comfortably. You don't have to be in any position. Take whatever practice you've done, yoga or meditation or contemplation, or like you said, taking and sending, whatever practice you've been doing, Bring all of that energy into your heart center. However you think of that. Light coming in. Then take all the beings in the universe as whatever deity you're practicing into you as the central deity. Then disappear your form symbol. In this case, it was Prajnaparamita. Disappear that into that mantra that you were sounding in your heart. It's called the heart mantra. So all the TADYATA, Om, Gati, Gati, Paragati, Parasam, Gati, BODHI, SOHA disappears syllable by syllable into this bomb, the sound of space. Then that with the five-colored sphere of light blends with space. Do nothing. Sit still. Simply keep your mind to the present. That's the practice. Don't let it attach to what you're thinking or any bodily sensations of pleasure or pain. Just relax. No past, no future, no present. Moment to moment awareness. Since there's no meditation, you're simply pondering timelessness, which is the nature of the universe. Don't block your thoughts. Just let them flow right on by. They come out of voidness, they appear out of habit, and they disappear. back to where they came from. Everything works that way. We advise keeping this stage of the meditation practice, called the accomplishment stage, to a short session to start with. A few moments, a few minutes. Just stay present. Watch. Watch your bodily sensations of pain or pleasure, joy or sadness arise. Don't attach. Don't block. Then when you're through this session, again become the deity with the mantra and the creation sound. We only have 1,000 deities to work with. One is enough. Om, body of light. Ah, the energy of that light. Om, the energy of space. The all-pervasive nature of your mind. These three together are the symbols of every Lama, every deity, and they come to fruition. The body becomes a body of clarity. The essence in the body, these patternings that you place in your body, however they got there, become lighter and lighter. You start to lighten up. That's where the word enlightenment comes from. When those two are accomplished, what comes out your mouth is based on the energy patterns you're placing in this form body. So they become more appropriate to everyone. And the mind becomes a mind of voidness. No judgment. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't like that. And you look directly at that and just go, okay, well, that's the way we are. Stay in the middle. If you don't like it, aversion comes. If you like it, attachment comes. If you believe in celestial gods and goddesses and they can help you, arrogance. Automatically. It's just the way we're programmed in this age. Inferiority complex, less than, low life, this kind of thing. Jealousy comes. And the worst of all afflictions is believing that you're separate from everything else. Separateness. Now we're going to dedicate the merit of this to the benefit of all beings. And that's a prayer at the bottom of this refuge. First we'll say it in Sanskrit. Chant it. Kevani Nerdudam Chalya Champo Juturne Joa Chintan Malupa De Sala Gopasho Sanjay Kuslo Nempajan Maldam Choni Major Dempajan Maldam Kenya Nature Dumpajan Maldam Chita Loa Molam Dupasho. Then in Canadian, By this virtue, having realized Mahamudra, that quickly establish all beings without a single exception in this state. Through the blessing of the Buddhas who attained the true body, through the blessing of the unchanging truth of the Dharma, through the blessing of the unwavering aspiration of the SOHA, may this occasion prayer be fulfilled. To all sentient beings, and dedicated to all beings. So all beings be happy, free of suffering, established in bliss and equanimity. And then my prayer of auspiciousness is that all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness and prosperity, and all their wishes be fulfilled. And then Hawaiian, mahalo, in Tibetan, duchiche. And in Australian, thank you. My language is so good.